Section 5.1, number 2. And this problem has 3 parts. We need to do all 3 parts here. So here I'm going to give you an example, changing the fractions to 1/3 and times 1/5. So first we need to write a simple word problem. And this word problem can be solved by 1/3 times 1/5. And then we need to give a math drawing and to explain why this problem can be solved by this multiplication and how to solve it. Okay, and then that's part A. So let's go ahead and just do that. And the multiplication here means word of. So 1/3 times 1/5 means 1/3 of 1/5. So when we take a portion of the portion, so we will do multiplication. Again, we're going to use the drawing to demonstrate why it's multiplication. And we take a portion for 1/3, it's a portion of 1/5. So it's a portion of a portion. But 1/5 is a portion of some kind of object. So here we're going to use a square to represent that object. And so this object, or the square, is the whole for 1/5. But the whole for 1/3 is 1/5. Okay, so let's look at the word problem here. If Mark has 1/5 of a cake, I guess this is redundant, and eats 1/3 of that, then he has eaten 1/3 times 1/5, which is equal to 1/15 of a whole cake. And if you want to ask a question, you could say, how much of a cake? How much of a cake has he eaten? Which can be solved by doing this multiplication. And notice that the answer 1/15 is a portion of the whole cake. And notice 1/3 is not a portion of the whole cake, it's a portion of the cake. Because 1/5, it's a portion of 1/5, and 1/5 is a portion of the whole cake. Okay, so that's why the answer is going to be 1/15, not 1/3 anymore. Okay, so let's look at the drawing here. And so we use a square to represent the cake. So that's the cake. And so first, we're going to take 1/5 of the cake. So we divide the cake vertically into 5 equal parts. And I highlighted the first part here. So that's 1/5, the yellow part right here. That's the 1/5. And then we are going to take 1/3 of the yellow piece, not the entire cake. So in order to do that, and we will not cut. We could do it vertically again, divide into 3 equal parts, but because we already have those blue cuts for 1/5, and now we have the red cuts for the 1/3, which could be confusing. So instead of doing that, especially for other fractions when the denominator is not 1, it could be very difficult to see. So what we're going to do is we are not going, or maybe instead of having one yellow piece, we could have more than one piece. So what we're going to do is we're not going to divide the cake vertically. We're going to divide it horizontally into 3 equal parts, and we take one of them. Now, we also have to extend the line to all the other 4/5 of the cake, which we did not get, because we have to compare the portion, this part, to the entire cake. So if we don't extend that, and when we look at this little piece, tiny piece here, compared to the entire cake, we cannot tell what fraction of this piece is the whole cake, because we have these big parts here. We compare this little tiny part to these bigger parts. So we have to make sure we divide the entire cake into all equal parts. So that's why we extend it, as you can see in my drawing there. So I'm going to get rid of that again. So for the first drawing, I'm just going to highlight yellow part, the one piece, that's 1/5. Now, and again, when we divide the yellow piece into 3 equal parts, go ahead and extend it to the entire cake. And again, but we only take when we finally, I highlighted this green part right here. So I'm going to just do this. Maybe it'll be easier to see. So that is the final part that Mark has eaten. And because he, first of all, he got 1/5 of the cake, and then he only ate 1/3 of the 1/5. So which is this tiny parts there. But notice again, my drawing is probably not the best, but all of these little parts are of the same size. So when we compare this little piece to the entire cake, as you can see, first we divided the cake into vertically into 3 columns, 3 cuts, 3 columns, and then we cut the cake horizontally in 3 rows. So now notice we have 3 times 5, a total of 15 parts, but we only got one part. Mark only ate this one part. So again, each of the tiny pieces have the same size. So that's why you can say, okay, Mark has eaten 1 out of 15. Again, why is one? How did we get 15? It's 3 times 5. So 5 is 5 vertical cuts we see in that drawing, and the 3 is the 3 horizontal cuts we see in the drawing. And because that gives us the entire cake, we divided the entire cake into 3 rows and 5 columns. So, and that way, in order to figure out the total number of parts, we multiply them. And the top, why is it still 1? Because we can multiply 1 to 1 to get 1, and because we, in the vertical cuts, we only took 1 part. So one of the one highlighted in yellow. So this one again, it's the yellow part. Again, it comes from the one of the 5 vertical cuts in there, 5 columns in there. And this one actually comes from the horizontal cuts. So we divide the yellow part into 3, but I only took 1 of them. So again, we have 1 row and 1 column. 1 times 1 gives us still 1. So this is the green one, green cuts, green parts. Okay, so that's why we do multiplication to get the answer, which is 1 over 15. Okay, so next let's look at part B. Discuss the meaning of 1/5 times 1/3. So now notice that we switched these two numbers, and from 1/3 times 1/5 to 1/5 times 1/3. And although we know there is a commutative property for multiplication, that the answer should be the same, and the meaning is different. So let's look at the word problem again. So this time, Mark has 1/3 of a cake. So previously, we have to start with the second number. Always start with the second number because 1/3 is 1/3 of that. So we start with the portion 1/5 the cake, and then we take 1/3 of the 1/5. But now we're gonna take, so let's say Mark got it 1/3 of a cake, and then tonight he only ate 1/5 of his portion. So how much of cake has he eaten? Again, we're gonna take 1/5 times 1/3, which gives us still 1/15. And the drawing will be kind of similar, but the order again is different. So instead of cut vertically into 5 equal parts, so we get 5 columns. Because we started with the 1/3, so he got 1/3 of the cake. So we only have 3 columns instead of 5 columns, and he got one piece, one slice. And then so for this yellow piece, because he only ate 1/5 of that, which means we have to divide this piece into 5 equal parts. And so again, you can see, and he only ate this little piece here. And again, we have to extend the cuts to the entire cake so we can see the entire cake has how many parts. So we can compare the part he ate to the entire cake. Okay, so as you can see, the drawing kind of look different, but if you turn this square 90 degrees, it's actually it's going to become, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to become 5 columns and 3 rows. So it's going to be the same as that one there. And notice it's still going to be 1. So this is 1 row, 1 column, which is what he ate, compared to uh, 5 rows and 3 columns, which is a total of 15. So again, 5 times 3, it's also 15. The portion he got is 1 times 1, which is still 1, same as what he had in the previous question. Okay, so that's, again, make sure you understand the difference. So it's 1/3 of 1/5, and 1/5 and 1/3. Although the answer is the same, he ate 1/5 of the whole. Well, notice again, looks like this piece is bigger, but it shouldn't be bigger because my drawing is sort of, it's not very, very, very good. I didn't really measure it, but this piece and that piece should be exactly the same. Okay, now finally discuss the difference. So again, which as what I just said. So these two expressions have the same value because multiplication is commutative. When you switch the numbers, you will get the same answer. However, they have different meanings. So the first expression refers to taking taking a portion of 1/5. So we have 1/5, and then we take this 1/5 and divide it into 3 parts. So we take a portion, or take parts of 1/5. But the second one, we take a portion of 1/3. We divide this portion into 5 equal parts. So again, the whole actually is different. It's a portion of 1/5 or a portion of 1/3.